What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Another episode propping up. Gold Boys Network, brought to you by Pickett and Boom Fantasy. Thanks for joining. Fresh week here. Off a really fun Sunday all around. Seemed like just about everybody, whether it's in the Discord community, friends of the program, seemed like a lot of people had a really good day. So that's a nice way to end the week for sure. Hope we can carry that over today. How you doing, Walla?
Pretty good based off of that. If I ignore, that I'm sick and not feeling great, it was a good night in hockey, so that was really nice. And yeah, like you said, just looking around, seems like everybody had a good one. So that just means uh, sticking to that data and trusting it can lead to some really good nights like that. A lot of guys came through in perfect spots, so we love to see that.
It's funny. I was saying before we went live, yesterday was probably one of the better days I've had all year from just a straights perspective. And I didn't open my laptop once. I didn't, I know people like those last 10 charts I put together, but I didn't even put that together yesterday. Just kind of looked at the board. And at this point, you have a lot of assumptions about teams. And for the most part, that can deliver. So just tried to find the most obvious spots just based on reputation of teams, and then hopped in prop stack cash for a little bit, and it worked out. So I feel like on this show, Walla's been very steady with his approach all year, and he's been having an awesome year. And I feel like every couple of weeks I have my own identity crisis of how I'm attacking the slate. But that's my takeaway from this past week. Just try to keep it a little bit simpler. Especially with the trade deadline this Friday. Just be wary of that. Try to maybe focus on teams that are intact, and look for spots where you can pick on a team that's selling off assets or just awful in general. Sort of how I'm approaching this week, especially just until rosters settle down a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, I think there's a couple ways to look at it, and I don't think I say this all the time. You know, you could look at everything from every angle and make it sound good if you think about it long enough and research every statistic. So you can get carried away, but yeah, I think you could trust the teams that are sticking together and have easy matchups. Or what I've been doing is finding the guys who are next to some player who's out or just left. Isamont, Max Domi. There's these guys who have really been given bigger opportunities when a high profile name is out, and I think I've been liking that angle too. So really, yeah, you could spin it however you want, kind of. But this is a really great time, I think, right now to find good value on stuff. Like Novak last night, everybody
That's
hopped on
great.
that when he got announced top line. I threw in power play point for the hell of it at plus 570, and that came through at the end. That was like, he had already gotten a point, so that was plus money. But just the opportunity, I love finding these types of guys. So
Uh,
that's what I'm looking at.
Novak right now, that's absurd. I mean, I started seeing people floating his name out yesterday morning, and I was like, who the hell is Thomas Novak? And you look in, and he's just on a tear. And then, yeah, not only does he get a point, he gets a goal, he gets an assist, and a power play point, clean sweep. He could have loaded up a lot of plus money value there. So,
Yeah.
be interesting to see what he opens up next game, assuming Forsberg stays out. Um, that's one to keep on our radar for sure.
Yep.
All right. Well, there's only a couple games tonight. So why don't we just get started with Detroit and Ottawa? I haven't looked too much into this game yet. I do have one play. Kind of, I don't think it's a roster related. I can't quite explain why there's been such an uptick, but David Perron has seen a massive jump up in his attempts lately, which has translated to some more shots, as you might imagine. Last four games, well, before those last four games, long stretch here, Perron was getting about 3 attempts a game. And then I don't know what happened here on February 18th, but he's gone 8 attempts, 7, 6, 7. He's over 2.5 in 3 of those games. And he's leading the team in power play shots right now over his last 10, tied with Larkin. So that certainly plays a factor. And Ottawa, we've talked about, has been an awesome power play target this year. Most penalized team right now. And Perron, 2 games this year with Detroit, 5-4 against Ottawa, with 13 minutes of power play ice time, certainly helping the cause there. So he was plus 114 this morning. I'm still seeing plus 112. That's the only play I have in this game so far.
Yeah, I think that one looks really good. I saw you talking about it before I had even looked at it, and yeah, the volume these last 4 games really jumped up, and you just open up a chart with his season, and when he was getting that volume earlier on, he was getting 4 shots on goal, in a nice stretch there. So I like that angle with his volume picking up. You covered how Ottawa is a good power play target, so he should definitely see his chances and his shots in this one. I think 3 looks good, like you said, and if you wanted to play it safe, he has a 74% hit rate with 2 shots on goal. So with that volume, 3, 4 is very possible. 2 would seem like a really solid parlay piece if you're into that kind of thing. The alt lines and finding those high hit rates. He looks solid, really good
Yeah,
today.
I might sprinkle on 4 for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking through, and when his volume was similar this season, he it looks like he landed on 3 like one time and was pretty much going over. We could see on props.cash move it up to 5 attempts a game. He has a 70% hit rate, and he's landed on 3 4 times. So a lot of those are 4 plus. So if he's gonna get 5 attempts, he looks good for that alt line today.
That's a good flag. I mean, I don't do enough ladders this year. I did one with Tage yesterday and it worked out beautifully.
It's awesome.
It's, for some reason, always drawn to pairing those 4 or 5 guys in a parlay, thinking that's going to work out all the time. And it rarely or never does. So trying to do a little more standalone on these great odds. I might do per on 4, maybe a little on 5 as well. Because I mean, I'm looking at Ottawa here and pretty steady. They've been letting up about, regardless of location, I mean, 32 plus shots basically every night for a month. Again, handing out 4 power plays certainly helps the cause there. So as long as that continues, I think Detroit can find some shots. I mean, Detroit's been playing really well. I know they just lost 3-0 to Tampa. They got 45 shots off in that game, which is crazy that they could score one. But before that, they'd won what looks like 7 of 8 prior to that loss. They've been playing really well lately, so I could see it continuing here.
Yeah, for sure. I thought Batherson Point looked good in this matchup. He's been pretty steady this season with his points. 62% hit rate, and I think it goes up to 70% on home ice. He's 3 points in the last 2 meetings against Detroit, and a point in 4 of his last 5 against them. Just if I was looking, it's minus 150, which I think is pretty solid for a point. We talk about point plays a lot, and they're up in the minus 200s for some guys with similar hit rates. Just bigger names sometimes get more inflated lines, but that's a pretty reasonable price, I think. In this spot, I think they can get a goal or 2, and Batherson can come through like on the power play and things like that. His volume is down a bit shooting wise, so you could see that his points have kind of from earlier on in the season, he was getting them a bit more consistently. But I like that home hit rate, and in this matchup, I just think that he should get some chances. So that was on my radar today.
Yeah, I don't hate that. Although Huso has been getting a little bit better. He had that stretch there where he was addicted to letting in 3 to 5 goals. He still has those here and there, but he has had some better outings lately.
Yeah,
I
I was kind of worried last night too. I mean, it's not the same by any means, but going into the last game, Ingram on Arizona had a couple really nice games recently, and just in my mind, I just thought, all right, he got those really good, games out of the way. Not to say that like he's always going to be terrible or anything. Just figured there was going to be some balancing out there, and he would let some by. But that was really it. That was one that caught my eye. Otherwise, I do like your Perron angle.
And I mean, obviously, these teams have changed a bit, but if you look back in the last year, 2 years, Ottawa has loved pouring on goals against Detroit. I'm seeing a lot of 4 or 5 goal games here dating back to 2019. They did lose New Year's Eve 2-4, um, but earlier December they won 6-3. I don't know if you put a lot of weight into that. They certainly have had success, but I don't know something about Ottawa props. I just always pick the wrong guy. I feel like they got so many talented forwards, and I just always pick the wrong one. So I think I'm going to just hang off Ottawa for a little bit.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. I think Detroit looks good. I don't think it's going to be like Senators are going to roll. I just think if they get a goal or two, his 70% hit rate at home looks solid for a parlay or something like that. But Perron, the more I look at it, the more I'm liking him today.
I know we have some people. I don't know if you've seen this. The most random. I'm not even sure how people stumbled on this, but we had a couple people in Gold Boys this morning chatting about Austin Watson. Have you seen this guy? He's a fourth liner on Ottawa. He has what looks like 5 goals this year. Dating back to the last 2 years, he scored in 14 of 121 games. And he just randomly has 4 goals in 5 games against Detroit, and he's plus 710 to score. So I'll flag that out. I can't take credit for finding that, but when some people were talking about that, it's just like, what the hell is this, and how did you even get here?
Yeah, I mean his shot volume
Horrible.
is pretty disgusting. That's pretty funny though.
Um, yeah, I felt like we should flag that. He did get what looks like to be one of his highs of the year in minutes last game. So don't look now, Austin Watson.
That's so ridiculous. I don't understand why. Yeah.
That's all I got in this one.
Wow, and I'm looking at a shot chart against Detroit, and he's missed one attempt. Not that he shot a lot. He went 3 for 3, 1 for 1, 3 for 3, 0 for 1, 2 for 2 on his attempts against them, like on goal. That's just funny. Surprising. All right.
Yeah,
If he
ridiculous.
scores, that would be a hell of a win, plus 710.
I think he was plus 790 earlier.
All right, yeah, so it's already starting. People are starting to get in on it.
All right, this next game is a fun one. I'm just looking forward to watching this. Boston, Edmonton. This is one, talking about simplicity before even looking at numbers. I just think shots are going to be flowing in this one on both sides. Both offenses so high powered. And I think just knowing that the other offense is so capable of dominating that there's going to be even more urgency to get those pucks on net early and often. So I think this is a great one to look for shots and a couple angles. I know we're both on the same combo. I believe you put that in, right?
Yep.
So let's start there with I know this might be state by state, but I think the majority of people have access to those player performance parlays on FanDuel. You can find them if you just click into the game and stay right there on the homepage for a game. But they are offering Pasta and McDavid each to get 4 shots at plus 110, which just seems like an awesome combo to run. Both of them, their lines are 4.5, so we're getting to move them down one, where they're both hitting north of 70% this year. 3 straight meetings, they've both got 4 at least. So that price in that offering, that seems like an awesome one to grab. And I think also both teams been handing out a decent amount of power plays. So we got the 2 guys leading the charge there. I think that's an awesome combo.
Yeah, that's the last point was kind of the driving factor for me. It was just like in this game, I kind of I like these games where it's like Edmonton, Tampa Bay, Edmonton, Boston, Boston, Tampa Bay, those kind of games, these like really good teams, in general coming together seem to really provide good props and that just felt like the best way to attack this game. Like you said, getting them a shot lower than their line. McDavid has been, he's normally a 3.5 line, so he's
He's been on a
on
tear.
fire enough that they're putting him up at 4.5. Pasta has always been at 4.5, so getting him down at 4 is always nice. Yeah, and the power plays, I mean, those are the guys. You see it so often. I see so many times people are needing like McDavid or something for a parlay, and they're so mad. They're like, "Oh, McDavid, I need more shots from him. Can't believe this. My last leg of the parlay." And then in like the third period, they go on a power play, and
Yeah, and
and then he ends up clearing his line by 2 shots or something like that. It was a sweat, and then it turns into like just destroying the line. So
that's
I
so
just like
true.
those two guys here. Why you know, it looks like a good matchup. Why go crazy? Those are the 2 names, and they're letting us get them a shot lower. I like it.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I don't hate. I think it was plus 290. Maybe you sprinkle a little bit on them to each get five as well. I could certainly see it, but at four, that was like a wow. Okay, yeah, I'll take this. No need to overthink it. I don't hate Pasta for a goal. I hate his odds. I mean, they're only minus 106, but um, if we're looking at goals, I do prefer the Boston end just a little bit, um, just because Olmark is such a stud, and Pasta has pretty nice history against Edmonton going back a couple years. He's scoring much more than he isn't. Um, just a simple-minded play. I'm not sure if I will be playing that one yet, but goal score. I mean, we should mention Draisaitl's on a tear, 7 straight, and he scored 4 in his last 2 against Boston. But again, I'm a little nervous to test Olmark, and these games actually typically go under, even what their shots. So I'm a little scared on that end.
Yeah, I think one of the angles I was liking was on the Boston side. I kind of like the Brusque point. It's another one right around or coming in at minus 150. Since he's come back, he's had 5 points in 4 games, and he was already doing pretty well this season before that. I thought it was pretty crazy on the road. Has a point in 14 of 17 games this season. Um, yeah, he just has looked really good since he's been back. Uh, he had last game he had 2 shots on goal on 3 attempts, but then in the 3 before that he was shooting a lot. So he's been getting his chances, getting points. Good team around him, so he doesn't need to score. He can get an assist. So I thought that one looked pretty interesting.
Yeah, that looks really good. And I think all the logic of why you like DeBrusque, except the amazing hit rate, kind of also applies to Bergeron, who's been picking it back up after being really quiet for a while. He's got 6 points in his last 5 games, and on the road, 5 in his last 3.
Yeah,
And I'd have to look back further, but at least just last year he had 3 points in 2 games against Edmonton. He's only minus 135 for a point
that's
on
a
a
good
top
price.
line. I may have to look there.
Yeah, no, that's a really good price. DeBrusque guy would at minus 150. If I was gonna play him, that would be parlay. Maybe that's what I would put with like Batherson or somebody like that. But Bergeron minus 135. Yeah, that's not a bad look. He's got some goals, 3 goals, 3 assists, so pretty even there. Minus 135 does not look bad at all.
I want to see how he's done against Edmonton besides last year, just points wise. Three straight games with a point. I don't know, pretty steady, up and down.
Oh man, Barry power play point is plus 210. On Oilers, he's been rolling. I mean, just a points, 1 point is plus 110. He has a point in 6 straight, um, back-to-back games with 2 points, and he has a power play point in 3 straight, 4 power play points. And yeah, and Boston's good. You've talked about Olmark. You know, their goals, they're letting up the least goals a game, second least power play goals against, but they do take penalties. So uh,
Very, very strength on strength here. Boston, great penalty kill, but Edmonton's power play is phenomenal. So, I mean, 3 to 4 chances, you have to think they probably could get one power play goal. I don't hate it. It's just, again scary. I'm I'm gonna stay off of
Well,
any.
to put it in perspective, Connor McDavid is minus 146 for a power play point and has the same amount in the past 3 games. I think they're all correlated. I think each power play point was, like McDavid scoring and Barry getting an assist. So it's plus 210. That's really nice looking. Just when you look at it that way. Uh, Draisaitl minus 144. He's been rolling with power play points, 3 in his last 3 games.
I do want to give Drysdale a little more attention. I think his shots look really solid. He's just after he was quiet for a while, he's just really woken up the last 8 games. He's over in 6 of his last 8, averaging like I believe 3.8 shots per game, and he has what is it, 13 shots against Boston his last 3 meetings. So if I was going to look anywhere, I mean, you'd have to put in a parlay. He's probably my favorite individual at where their standard line is today in this game.
Yeah, for sure. He's hot lately. I mean, just everything, goals, shots. Like I said, power play points. That's where he's getting a lot of his goals. So I'm gonna end up sprinkling on Barry power play point, aren't I? Plus 210.
It sure sounds like it.
Yeah, probably will. Maybe. I mean, even if I threw a quarter unit on it, still get a half unit back. It's not a bad look there. It's a tough opponent, but they'll get their chances, I think. So
The only other I did put in also Edmonton Edmonton over 32.5 shots on Barstool. Bet Rivers is the only books that have that market, but I just found that line a little bit soft. I mean, Oilers averaging about 35 at home, and Boston's been definitely looser to shots lately. Um, Oilers 33 plus shots in 8 of their last 12, and I was looking back on Boston games, and it's been a bit since they faced sort of a team comparable to what Edmonton can do, but they actually faced in a 4-game stretch, the end of January to beginning of February, they played Tampa, Florida, Carolina, and Toronto, and all 4 of those teams got 35 plus off on Boston. So 32 and a half. Initially, I thought maybe Olmark saves. But sounded like that might open around 30 and a half. So I'm just going to go for total shots here at 32 and a half. Felt like a really nice number.
yeah, I think that's solid. I mean, you know, we're already liking some guys to shoot in this game, so uh, rather than overextend yourself on individual player props, just root as the whole team gets shots off.
I think that's all I noticed in this game. It's going to be a fun one, though. Looking forward to watching it.
Yep.
All right, let's move to Vancouver, Dallas. JT Miller seems to be scratched. I don't know if he's about to get traded or what, but that was some news that sort of just makes me like Dallas even more than I already did. Dallas is, I don't know how they've been overall lately. Let me just check, but at home they have not been scoring many goals. Yeah, in general, not a ton of goals. Their power play has seemingly disappeared after being dominant to start the year. This seems like a great opportunity for them to get back on track against the Vancouver team just that loves to let up goals. And now without JT Miller, it's going to be even harder for them to possess the puck, I think. So that's where I don't know what I'm doing with it yet, but I think Dallas is going to score and shoot. I have no bets in it all.
Yeah. I thought you had mentioned when we were talking before the game, maybe looking at Robertson. Uh,
Yeah, it's not just a small minded. He's plus 106 for a goal. If I think Dallas is going to score 4 to 5, seems like he'd be a good bet to do so.
yeah. I'm just kind of smiling over here because I'm about to read uh some
Oh,
the recent matchups from Tyler Sagan against
yeah.
Vancouver. 'Cause, the only time I bring this guy up is if there's something hilarious to talk about, such as Chicago, where he's hit in like 25 straight games or 24, 25. All right. Let me read. Let me read back his shots against Vancouver over the past couple years. 5-5-1, 5-5-5-7, 4-4, 3-4, 6-4, 3-8. And it just keeps going. for a bit. That's pretty hilarious. They got him not where I would want him price wise anymore. When we were getting him against the Blackhawks, it seemed like he was still around plus 120. I think maybe they've wise either they've wisened up or it's just because he has had a couple nice games now, with some increased volume. So that I see like minus 108, or I think I saw plus 100 on Barstool earlier. But I mean, I think he's getting 2 to 3 shots on goal in this matchup. Two is just amazing, 78% hit rate. So would love using an alt line or something there, if possible. Yeah, but I just had to bring that up. Saw against
Yeah,
Chicago too.
it's just a hilarious trend. Um, yeah, I think his two is always a safe floor. It's just funny. You look back on that history, and as you read it over, there are not a lot of threes in there. It just makes me want to go right to 4 or 5. Um,
There's only one, two.
and I get like, I'm starting to get a little bit. I'm sure some people have PTSD from all these guys that always hit against the team, and then it gets shared on Twitter. You finally bet it, and it loses. Anders Lee, I gave him 2 chances this week. Screwed me both times. Claude Giroux broke a lot of people's hearts over the weekend. So
Yeah, that's true.
I get it if that scares you off. There's something about Tyler Sagan. He's got 3 or 4 teams he just has to shoot against, and he just seems to always deliver. And in a game, I think Dallas dominates. It seems like a good look.
Yeah, I think maybe the only flag, which is it's kind of funny because of what you were saying before. Dallas really, they have the same consistent, top line and stuff like that. Do believe, they just got Dodonov, and I think he's on that line with Sagan and Marchment.
Totally.
So I don't know. I mean, that might not change anything at all. But if you're a person who doesn't like things being mixed up chemistry wise, keep an eye on that. But yeah,
I'm
crazy.
seeing. Oh, never mind. Sorry, you're right. Sorry, never mind.
So good. 5+ in uh what's that, 5 of his last 6, 7, 4. Oh god. Yeah. Might just sprinkle a little bit on a big game from him or something. Because I mean, I love being able to just filter by attempts on props that cash, because he only has a 39% hit rate on the season over 2.5. But if you just bump him up to getting 4 attempts in a game, he goes up to 66% hit rate. 5 is an 82% hit rate. So really, he just needs the attempts. And I mean, last season he was more consistent for us at that 2.5 line. So he's shown that he can do it with the attempts. And last 2 games, he has 8 and 3 shots on goal, and he has 9 and 5 attempts. So, and if he can just get those, he looks great.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. 'Cause I haven't really looked into this game too much. Someone on Dallas for points I would um, like Joe Pavelski has nice history against Vancouver. He's been a little quiet lately. Jamie Benn kind of catches my eye for a point. He's been really steady. He's minus 140 for a point. I'm seeing he's got one in 21 of his last 29 games, 4 in his last 2. Um, that seems interesting to me. I'm not sure how I want to play this game yet. I am. It also sounds like Canucks might be trotting out this Silovs goalie, who has actually been not bad lately. I mean, anyone's better than who Vancouver's had in net. So I'd like to maybe wait for some confirmation there. I mean, he's only let up 2 goals in 3 straight starts. One of those games was against Boston. So that gives me a little bit of pause. Maybe they found a little gem there in net. But Jamie Benn point seems interesting to me.
Yeah. I think I might pull the trigger on this one. Maybe I'll wait to see what FanDuel puts out if they have like a popular parlay and it just happens to have Sagan and Bouvier 2+ or something. But I mean, he's been great at 2, just like Sagan. He has a 76% hit rate at 2 shots on goal. But since he got traded to the Canucks, he's seeing his highest time on ice of the season. He's seeing some pretty decent attempts. He had a stretch on the Islanders where he saw these attempts and he was getting 2 and 3 shots on goal. Uh, what I'm really liking too is power play minutes. His last 3 games, 4.6, 5.1, 4.9. Um, so he's getting some increased time on the power play. And it, like you said, JT Miller, what I read was that he has a minor injury, and he's not playing tonight. So that's going to be some extra volume, especially on the power play. So him at 2.5 doesn't look too bad, especially 2 games against Dallas this year, 6 and 3 shots on goal against them. And in the one where he had 6 shots on goal, he had 1.8 minutes of power play time. So give him, if they commit some penalties, of course, give him an increased role on there. It's kind of looking good to me. I'm liking these guys who might have more opportunity.
Yeah, I think that's a really good flag. Yeah, I mean the 2+ looks awesome.
Yeah, if you could somehow combine him and Sagan at 2+ and it's like reasonable odds, that'd be something. Perron. I know I think all these guys are good looks for their 2.5 line as well. Just like playing it safe, they all just have great hit rates at these 2+ shot lines.
Only, I mean, I could see Vancouver getting some shots off. I find this one a little interesting. Besser without JT Miller in the lineup.
Oh,
Uh,
sure.
JT Miller he hasn't missed any games this year, but last 2 years, Besser shots 6, 3, 4, 1, 4 without JT Miller. They're on the same line usually, so I don't know if they were on the same line necessarily last year, but
Besser was so much better last year, man. I just popped up his chart from last year, and 2.5 was like, just if it was a good matchup, you just trust that guy for those shots. But yeah, that's a good point. And, everybody should get some more opportunity. I was just drawn to the increased time on ice for Bouvier, but that's fair. Besser's had some shots recently.
yeah, last 2 road games, 16 attempts. Covered his line both times. It's
Yeah, not
interesting.
bad.
Just moved from even money to -105 as I stared at it. Bummer.
Damn.
All right, let's keep it moving here. Vegas, Colorado, another one that could be a lot of fun. I have no idea how to play this, to be honest. I mean, I know Colorado lets up a lot of shots as defensemen. Vegas has 2 good options there. I wonder how they look. Haven't looked. Not
I
good.
don't. I don't. I mean, I wasn't liking the Pie Man Petrangelo recently. I guess his volume's okay. He has these stretches where he just will miss everything.
But
But
look at 5-4-4-3-2 against Colorado last 5 games. Guy loves shooting against the Avs.
that's fair.
Yeah, his recent games are. Ugh.
I liked that they put Marchessault down at 2.5, 70% hit rate on the season at that line. Um, he's hit it against Colorado in 3 straight. Not a bad parlay piece there. I know you've mentioned that on other shows. When he's down at 2.5, it's pretty decent look. So 70% is pretty good. Pretty good hit rate. And I'm looking, he hit last game, right? He has this whole season, he hasn't ever just hit 3 shots one game and then went down the next game for whatever that's worth. He's always put together a couple of games of 2.5 or over 2.5, but nice hit right there. Don't hate that look.
Man, I mean, this is a massive game in what's a wide open West. This is another. I mean, Jack Eichel's on the road. Should probably mention that one of the most pronounced splits I mean, Ryan Hartman's giving him a run for his money now, but Hartman's starting to hit it home as well.
That
Eichel,
top line for him's been great.
Eichel, even money here. Last 2 years, he's hitting 70% on the road and 43% at home. The attempts go way up. He's not just hitting his 3.5 line. He's just averaging a lot more shots on goal in general. I mean, 3 games with Vegas, he's only covered this line once against Colorado, but I don't know. It's a massive game. I tend to go to him on the road, and it does on paper look like Vegas should be good for 33. I mean, you want to talk about an outline, move Eichel down to 3. He's hitting that 9 straight. I might have to do that.
This one would be more of a long shot, but it is coming plus money. Riley Smith is hitting 3 straight games, and his volume from 3 back to the most recent 5, 6, 10, 3, 3, 8 shots on goal. And if you look at just the last 2 seasons, this season and last, he had 1 the last time in Colorado, so that's a bummer. But prior to that, he had 3, 6, 4, 4 shots against Colorado. So
Sorry, who is this?
Riley Smith. Volume is kind of picking up a bit last couple of games. Time on ice up, a little bit maybe. He had a nice game last game. 3 shots on goal, 8 attempts.
That does look pretty good.
And he's had some success against Colorado, but that's a longer shot just based on his season. He's had stretches where he really wasn't shooting the puck too much, but starting to go up. Like I said, it's nice increase there. I don't know if it'll stay, but nice numbers in this matchup. Plus money.
I would be a little hesitant here of loading up too many goal scorers. I'm just looking back on recent meetings here. The under is hit in 6 straight between these two. 2 quality goalies expected in that. And Vegas definitely has had some big shot games against Colorado. Colorado's been stifled. They haven't hit 30 shots against Vegas since April 2021. So I could see this game going under. It's at 6. It's going to be a fun game and a big game, but I don't think I'm going to have too much exposure here.
Yeah, I wasn't too crazy about it. From a matchup perspective, I don't know why. Just any guy who has a 70% hit rate at his line, I think is worth pointing out, and that's why I brought up Marcia. So that was about it for me. Riley Smith was interesting for the price.
Yeah, I think to summarize, we're both in agreement that Vegas is good for shots here. If you're going to do something, maybe leave it at that. We tossed out basically every possible name, so realize that might not have been that helpful. But I'd say just poke around these Golden Knights guys, see who stands out to you. For me, it's probably Eichel, but the March is so down. And I think Riley Smith is a good flag too.
Yeah, imagine a popular parlay like 2, 2, and 2 or something. Yeah, who knows? I love waiting for those because there's some really good ones that they throw in there sometimes. So keep an eye out there.
Yeah, I'd love I would do an Eichel Marchessault both at 3 if that was offered at plus money. Sign me up.
That'd be solid. Yep.
All right. Speaking of powerhouses, let's end this night right. Blackhawks Ducks.
It's my favorite game.
Definitely. This is sort of I was thinking about this morning. Like, you see these two teams that are just they let up so many shots, and you tend to wonder, like, are they letting up so many shots because their defense is so bad, or is it because their offense is so bad? If that makes any sense. Like, are they incapable of possessing the puck so the other team just dominates? So when they both meet each other, what happens? And goals didn't seem to happen much, was my initial takeaway. These two met not too long ago, I believe. I think I took the over too. Like these teams stink goals, and I guess they might stink a little bit more because of the offense. So I still like shots, but not as excited about goals as I thought I would be.
Yeah, I don't blame you for that one. The offenses aren't that good. But yeah, shots wise, I think there's some opportunity here. Kane probably going to be traded to the Rangers. It sounds like. So he didn't play last game, and I doubt. Yeah, why suit him up at this point? It's like what the Sharks did with Timo. Uh, just just sat out until he was gone, and that allowed other guys some opportunity. Uh, so the first name that I thought of today was, or even last game, I played him last game too, and he ended up with 8 shots on goal. Max Domi, you know, he has 4 games this season without Kane, and in those games he has 4-4-4 and 8 shots on goal. On what's that? He had 10 attempts last game. I'm seeing 4 on 6 and then 4 on 7, 4 on 7 in those games without Kane. So it's the Ducks giving up shots. He shoots on the power play. There was stretches this season where that was a reason why he looks so good too. In some of these matchups, he's been a 2 shot on goal guy by far this season. 67% hit rate, and it drops to 33% when you go up. But it's just he's Kane's been out there with them, so there's just a clear jump up when Kane's not in the lineup, and this is just such a good target. I played it at -110 this morning, and I'm seeing like -160 now. So, unfortunately, that moved a lot, but looks like a good spot for him.
Yeah, hopefully some people got on this early. You were talking about it, and I liked everything you were saying, so I also shared it over in Gold Boys. So hopefully a lot of people got -110, -150 now is a bummer. You could put it in a two-legger, maybe wait till 4 as well. I just mentioned all those games without Kane, he had at least 4. Um, I think this is just such a great example of when you have that context. Like if you're poking around on props.cash, um, you just see last game without Kane, Domi's minutes jumped up about 4 or 5 compared to the last 9, and his attempts flew up, 5 higher than anything we're seeing here of late. So that's just great to see, and against an awesome opponent. I certainly do not care at all that he's not gone over in both games this year. It's really just Kane is out. Um, yeah, I love the spot. Although I have heard some murmurs that maybe he could be on the trading block as well. So that's a good segue to another guy that looks great, whose price has not moved at all.
Yeah, I'm sitting here debating just playing both guys. Athanasiu. Um, I mean, last season, think about you might not have been betting as much last season, some of you out there. I don't know if you remember, but on the Kings, he put together a good end of the season. I was
Oh,
looking at his game log, and it was just like this guy was 3 shots, over 2.5 in a lot of those games.
I
His
I
minutes jumped up.
imagine his game log there showed up because you also went on StatMuse and saw his game log without Patrick Kane. Because
Yeah,
then,
obviously only looked at the two. Yeah, I'm looking at the two, and he has 4 and 4 in the last two without Kane. He had 2 and 2 in the first two without Kane. But I mean, he went up to 18 minutes when he was normally getting 14. So I think he's a great look, plus 130, especially now. Domi's just so juiced. But I don't hate it. I've been sitting here and I'm just like, maybe I just do both. Like, it's the Ducks. I figure one of them's gonna go over, and good chance both of them do. They both did last game without Kane against the Sharks. Um, he's from the Kings, so he's from over that division over there. I don't know, little knowledge or something, but he looked good when he was getting the opportunities. So I don't hate him either in this game.
I don't. I'm trying to figure out if this is new or not, but I don't know if it is. He's up to power play line 1. I don't know if he's always been there, but man,
I
do the
know last
Ducks.
game he got bumped up, so maybe it was there too. His power play minutes were up.
So Yeah, he does not have many power play points, but now he's up there against a team that just stinks on the penalty kill. And you look at that, he's plus 680 for a power play point.
Jesus.
I'm trying to
Dominance
figure out.
plus 150.
I can't seem to figure out.
He has 3 power play points in the last 2 seasons.
But it doesn't seem like he was not on line once. So this is a promotion here into a
So
smash
last
spot.
game he wasn't either against the Sharks.
Well, last game he was.
Why do you have so much less minutes then?
I'm a
Tommy was
little
just out there
confused.
the whole time, I guess.
It is a little. I'm just trying to go off left wing lock here, and it certainly seemed like with Kane in the lineup, Athanasiou much less
No,
uh,
yeah, definitely.
time on the power play. So that's just one of those. The books are setting this price based on what's happened all season. These are, I think, some of those opportunities where they're not really thinking about this guy getting promoted up to power play line one. Um,
He's hitting 6 of his last 9 games overall, though he's had some nice volume games in there, but just it's not as clear a jump overall that you kind of see. But that I like this look. We'll probably end up doubling down by the time the game comes around. It's still a good price.
all I'm saying is that I think we should sprinkle on his power play point. Just think about it.
Well, see, now it's just like if we don't and it happens, it's going to be so infuriating. Like when we didn't play the Henrique against the Lightning, and he had like 4 shots on goal in the first period when we were
Yeah.
messaging each other. So now I'll just be mad.
Because I do want to stay here on the power play. I know we're getting close to one, but when
Last
you look
game,
at tonight's board, Ducks do hand out a lot of power plays as they have all year. Penalty kills no good. I want to talk about Tyler Johnson for a second, who I think is an awesome parlay leg down at 1.5 shots. We haven't even talked about Anaheim players, so apologies there. But last 10, Tyler Jones is leading the team in power play shots. He's down at a 1.5 line where he's been very steady. 7 of his last 10, 6 of his last 7 on the road. He had 4 against the Ducks 20 days ago, 2 last year when he saw him. I really like that 1.5 line. I don't know with what, but that's was actually the first name that's down on my
Sagan,
list here.
Sagan too, and Johnson too.
That could be good if we don't get that Eichel Marchessault 3.
Yeah, because since Johnson's minus 180, you could. I wonder if what you'd get what it would get down to with Sagan too on there. It's not bad.
No, but I want to flag that. Do you see anything on the Ducks end? We feel like Chicago's a good target too. I think we are just so drawn to the idea of Kane's absence.
Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to like somebody on their end. Maybe Troy Terry. Been bad few games, but at home at home he when he hits he seems to hit kind of big. Didn't hit against Chicago though, so that sucks. That's probably why I wasn't really liking too many people. McTavish 1-1 against Chicago, which of course doesn't mean everything. He's been getting some shots, but he has some zeros mixed in there. I don't know. Nothing really called out to me.
Yeah, me neither. I think I'll just stay off of it. All right, let's try to recap here with some best bets. I know we tossed out a lot. I think I like doing this show sometimes when I don't have as many targets written out, but can get a little long-winded. So to recap, I mean, I put in 4 bets so far. I really like the Edmonton team shots line. Domi, but his price is gone. Why don't we save that combo for pick it play of the day?
Yeah.
And then the other play I put in was, why am I blanking? Oh, Perron. I really like Perron's uptick lately, and his power play involvement in a game you should see. So those are the 4 I've locked in. So those initial plays have been kind to me the last couple of days.
Yeah. I had the same, looking at Max. It sucks his price got so juiced. And I'm on the same one for you that we're going to talk about in a second. Those are the only 2 I currently put in, but I did think Perron looked good too. Um, Sagan's trend is pretty insane against the Canucks at over 2.5. I mean, he's been crushing that against them. Lots of 5-shot games in there. Uh, and then Athanasiou over 2.5 at plus 130. That looks like really good value. Just he's been hitting it lately, even in some games where he might, 4 attempts, 5 attempts, he can hit sometimes, but opportunity should be there. And
Yeah,
same for Bouvier. I like his
I'm down.
opportunity.
I'm down to do an Athanasiu. I kind of want to do a half unit on his shots and a quarter unit on that power play point.
Yeah,
You just inspired me with the Novak hit last night, and I think that same logic is applying here. Even though Chicago's power play is god awful, at some point they're sure to score one. I want to do that. I hope you'll consider it as well.
the power play point.
No,
Well,
no pressure.
man, I love the power play point angles though. Like finding these prices like that. He's on the same line as some of these other guys, and it's just such a huge discrepancy. Same thing with Barry. I just think it's hilarious that Draisaitl and McDavid are minus 140 something for a power play point, and then Barry's just sitting right there plus 210, getting involved in all of those other power play points. So yeah, maybe have fun with a couple of those today. I like his shots, Athanasiou, though. I feel like I've mentioned it too much to not play it now.
Yeah, no, I'm in. I'm gonna play it right after we get off here. All right, let's jump to Pickett play of the day. Thanks to Pickett for helping making this show possible. We're gonna rock with Pasta and McDavid, each to get 4 shots on FanDuel under the player performance parlays. Just unique market that's kind of hard to get that anywhere else, and a lot of data backs it up in what should be a high flying game. So plus 110 there seems like an awesome price.
Yeah, just two guys who fire away. Love power plays. Seem to have good games in these the high profile matchups and stuff. So love getting them a shot lower for plus money.
Cool. All righty. Thanks for joining, everybody. Hope we start this week right, just like how we ended the last one.
Yep.
We'll see you back here Wednesday.
Yep. See you guys.